Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and a belated Happy New Year. Welcome to another edition of Community Matters. This evening, we bring a very interesting debate and discussion as an increasing amount of people are using social media and technology, one for communication, whether it's communication with our family and friends, or we are using technology for employment, or we're using technology for business. We are going to have a discussion today around how we use technology, how we use social media, and is it a good thing? Is there any drawbacks? So I have a panel of people who come from various backgrounds, from students to business people, and I want to hear more about how they use it and what their perspectives are. So if I can introduce you to our first group of panel members. I'll start off on my right. Nearest to me is Sabir Kamali, who's the director of Sisters Forum. Welcome to the show, Sabir.
Thank you.
Okay. On my far right, we have Nusaiba Mohammed, who is a fashion design student.
Yep.
Just one of many things that she does. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We'll find out a bit more about what else you do.
Okay.
On my nearest left on here, we have Etashmul Haq, co-founder of British Bangladesh Airlines. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And on my far left, we have Shahin Miah, who's an internet marketing specialist.
Assalamu
Welcome, Salam. Maybe I should start off with you. What is an internet marketing specialist?
Well, the thing is, I've been working in the internet marketing space over the last 10 years or so to drive brand awareness and also sales growth for small and medium-sized businesses. And more recently, it will be interesting to have that discussion around our topic area today about social media, which has been sort of emerging on a sort of colossal scale over the last few years.
Tell me, right at the beginning, we want to talk about more about, like I said, social media.
Yeah.
How did you first have interaction with social media? Was it on a personal level, or was it, you said you've been working in business for the last 10 years?
Yeah, of course, initially, going back to about 10 years to probably about 2000, did you remember when Lycos was around?
Mm-hmm.
That time I used to have an extension to Lycos, promoting myself and, things that I had a passion for and interest for.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously Lycos went bust for whatever reason. Then other social networking sites emerged, like MySpace, which was a big one. I was on MySpace for personal use. I was using that quite a lot, to be honest with you. I remember one time I think I probably had about 20 or 30,000 people who I interacted with on my MySpace page.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Can I just ask you, how have you been using social media on a personal level, on a day-to-day basis?
Well, two of the things that I use on a daily basis would be Instagram and WhatsApp. Nothing else. I may be on Facebook, but I don't really use it. Okay. So my day-to-day...
What's good about WhatsApp and Instagram, and why do you use them?
On a day-to-day basis, like as you've said, I'm a fashion design student, and as well as that, I teach at Dar al-Rahma, a weekend Islamic institute, and so like that comes with a lot of, I do a lot of charity events, and with the fashion you do a lot of fashion events, and I think with Instagram you can just type in a certain word or something and then find out a lot about, I don't know, any sort of fabric or something to do with work. So I especially use Instagram for good networking with like work people, like photo shoots or anything like that, and obviously social reasons occasionally, and with WhatsApp, it's purely for family because I have a very international family, and it brings us together. You can't always pick up the phone and talk to them. So my middle sister's all the way in Australia, and in Australia you have like when it's our night, it's their day. So we miss each other a lot. We can't call each other. So as soon as I wake up, I see a message from her, and so it's great. Like
it's very positive thing.
It's a positive thing. Well, you have ups and downs with social networking.
We'll come back to that. What about you, Sabir? How do you use social media, or what social media do you use on a regular basis, let's say?
I think I use Facebook a lot for purely work purposes because I work within the community and I've got kids. So for me, picking up the phone, it takes about 15-20 minutes to talk to one person and convince one person. Whereas if I put a status on Facebook, I need volunteers, I need this for my charity, you have so many people, and at the same time, you sort of like reach out to people that you normally wouldn't. So for me, I think Facebook works better for me because I reach out to more people, and at the same time I manage my kids, so I do it in my own space. So I use it purely for networking and work purposes.
Is there any other social media you're using?
WhatsApp, again, I use it for family. We have our own Kamali chat group. We have different chat groups. So like all my friends are in a certain chat group. So if I wanted to speak to a few people, I'll send a message on a particular chat group. I think they're the only two ones I use, really.
Okay. What about you, Baya?
On
On a personal level, what do you use?
I mostly use to actually inform myself. So I find Facebook very useful in terms of which set of people or which segment or which section of people you want to find out more about. And especially I tend to observe more political and social updates, especially politics. And if you like certain pages,
is that
you
UK
know,
politics or Bangladesh politics?
both to be international politics, international, local, and this is what actually social media does. So you know, instantly you can find out about if something has happened in Sylhet. You know, some people from Sylhet is going to upload some pictures. Now that's within the second. I'm getting some information.
I think this leads on very nicely to the next question that I have. What we want to explore is, how has technology changed over the last few years? And how has social media, your own personal usage, how has that changed over the last few years?
It's definitely increasing. And you know, initially though I thought I'm going to resist, because I was a bit skeptic that it ultimately probably reduce human interaction, if you know what I mean. And you know, people are just going to be in front of a computer, and you know, there will be less human touch. But then again, once I found everyone is on Facebook, everyone is on WhatsApp, you don't want to miss out. So at the end, you join those social media in order to, you know, remain probably within the society. But it's almost like an innovative part of the society.
There is a good friend of mine in our office, and he's saying that he's not on Facebook. He's one of those people who is resisting Facebook. But his friends are constantly, when they're having a party, they put on in the calendar an event. Because he's not on it, he always seems to be the last one to know. Nobody ever phones him or sends him any other kinds of message. So we are now getting to almost an extreme element.
And yeah, it also depends on actually individual choices, individual preference. You'll probably find more extrovert people using social media more. I'm an extrovert, and probably introverts, they will be using it more to just, you know, not spy on people, but just to inform themselves on a very minimum level.
I'm starting to wonder, does anybody use their normal house phones anymore? What about you, Shahin? What's your personal experience? And what do you use other than your work?
Of course.
Talk about a little bit more.
Me personally, I use LinkedIn pretty much almost on a day-to-day basis. You know.
Well, why do you do that? Why LinkedIn?
The thing is, I feel like LinkedIn offers probably the greatest value to me in terms of the effective managing my time effectively and things like that. I feel like if I was using you know, Facebook, that wouldn't be very effective use of my time and stuff like that. However, on the contrary, this you know, sister Sabi over there, she gets the greatest value from using Facebook as opposed to speaking to someone on the phone. Whereas you know, I'm totally opposite. So the thing is, in terms of social media, there's so many platforms out there. Like the sister earlier on, she was talking about Instagram. You know, she feels like that's probably the best resource for you know, her. You know, you got Pinterest now, you got Instagram, we spoke about WhatsApp, Blogger. There's so many social media, and the thing is, you know, this brother, for him, it looks like Facebook is sort of the key platform for himself. However, you know, I beg to differ on that one. I feel like Facebook, I'm totally not the sort of best fit for Facebook. You know, this is how I personally feel.
You don't want the world to know exactly what you're doing every day.
The thing is, I don't want to put a message on saying, oh, I'm cooking now, I'm cleaning, or you know, I'm watching EastEnders or something like that.
Isn't it how you
Any of you
use
are
it?
big fans of Twitter in here?
No.
Because I still don't quite get why people like ourselves, ordinary people, would use.
Yeah, but there is a lot of pressure, you see. Like this brother was saying, if he didn't use Facebook, he'd feel like he'd be left out. The thing is, I feel like now, for young kids who are probably 15, 16, 17, who were in school, if they went on Facebook or Instagram, right, posting selfies and things like that, they'll get bullied, you know, I swear to you, my God. Well, someone like me, a young man my age, you know, I'm 31 now, I could actually get away by not being on Facebook or, not, you know, I don't have to be on Instagram. I wouldn't have that sort of peer pressure. Whereas young kids, I think it's part of a cult. It's a norm. You know, imagine like your child who's probably like 15 or 16 who's in school now, and they were not on Instagram, they were not on Facebook. Can you imagine how much bullying they would get from the peers?
Yeah, you might be, I think, looking around the group here, you must be the youngest, and you're a student as well.
Yeah.
Do you feel under pressure to, and what about your peers, your colleagues? Are they all on various social media?
Not necessarily. I don't feel peer pressured. I was away when Instagram actually came out. I was away in France at that moment, studying Arabic language, and obviously when I came back, I was like, "Ooh, Instagram! You know, this is something really cool." But I was really late. No one peer pressured me into it. But you know, I have Facebook, but I don't use it. You know, because I feel as though I don't benefit as much from it. Twitter I don't have, so I don't feel that pressure for me to. Other people have it, my friends have it, but it's about your individuality. It's about what you want from it. I think you know you can sit there and just spy on people.
You said something that I really like, and I think is very prevalent. That WhatsApp, with your sister being in Australia, for many of us, these communication tools. So whether it's WhatsApp, we haven't talked about Skype. We haven't talked about the fact that, you know, in remote villages in Bangladesh, the fact that we can communicate, which we'll come on to, I think, a later part. Well, generally speaking, do you think, do you find that more and more Bengalis or British Bangladeshis now using social media to communicate within the community?
Yes, I think definitely, and it is for the betterment, and it's exposing us to the current issues. You know, before people would, it's either just you watch the news and you know it, but now even when you're out, you know, something happens, immediately everyone tells you. There's more of a sense of community because you work together. Anything that happens with Syria, just in general, and Bengal, like recently we've had an event, food festival in my area, and it was basically just via Facebook. The promotion was via Facebook and WhatsApp, etc. And it brought all the community together. And also there's a lot of housewives, Bengali housewives, that sit at home and, you know, they do good baking, they do a lot of good sewing and stuff, but they don't have that confidence to come out and do all these things, you know, so it's good, like social networks is a good platform for them to just begin a business or begin something, or let people know, like, you know, what's going on in their kitchen, and then slowly, you know, build on that. So I think that is...
Sure. Shahin, just before we go for a break, have you noticed a trend or a change in trends of who's using these social media? Say, well, you don't use Facebook, but have you noticed from our Bengali community the kinds of people who are now going on maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
Of course. I mean, the thing is, if we just extract the Bengali part, the biggest user group of social networks amongst all communities are the younger generation, you know, the youngsters. But now, even in our Bengali community, it's the same. But now, more recently, it's the older generation, you know, people who are probably my age or older. They're beginning to jump on the bandwagon of Facebook, Twitter, and so forth like that. You mentioned Skype as well. I've seen a lot of older generation Bengali people use Skype to communicate. People that might have a distant relative, you know, in a different sort of, you know, country and things like that. And the sister earlier was talking about is the betterment. You know, she used that word. The thing is, there's pros and cons of social networks. There's, you know, there's the positive aspects and also the negative aspects.
Thank you, Shahin Bhai. We need to go for a very short break. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much as well. Please do stay with us. We're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about are there advantages, disadvantages, are there positive things, negative things about social media and these various communication tools. And you'll see a number on the screen. If you want to join in this debate, we would love to hear from you. Please do stay with us.
আপনারা দেখছেন কমিউনিটি ম্যাটার্স।